How would you explain thrift stores to someone who has never been in one? I doubt that you would explain the experience like this place my mom and I found ourselves in on our coast trip. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and this is quite possibly one of the strangest, most off putting thrift stores I've ever found myself in. It rivals the place that had "Abandon Hope, all ye who enter" painted on the walls. We were getting coffee and we saw a sign across the street for a thrift store, and we had a few extra minutes we could wedge into the schedule, so we decided to stop. And before we went in, I had a very definite image in my head of what I expected this store to be. It could not have been any farther from what I was imagining, and I don't think I would have I would have gone in alone. I would not have stayed. I apologize that the video is kind of disorienting, but to be absolutely honest with you, walking through the store and all of these narrow hallways and all of these tiny rooms was just as disorienting as rewatching this video, because this place kept going on and on and on. The interior of this building was absolutely huge. I don't know if it used to be offices or what. There wasn't a lot of rhyme or reason to what was where, but I did eventually catch something out of the corner of my eye. Do you see the Dimensions logo hiding there? There was a Dimensions kit, not a kit that I would stitch, and I should have got a picture of the floor because you had to stand a good 2 feet back from the shelf and stretch. And nothing in this place was priced. There were a few signs on the wall saying that clothing was particular prices. There were a few signs aggressively threatening shoplifters, which I agree that shoplifting is bad, but they were very aggressive about it. I didn't want to be in here. In hindsight, I'm not sure why I stayed. I hadn't asked about prices yet, so I didn't know how ridiculously overinflated they were going to be. And I kept thinking I might find something. There's the sunset logo from the Cruel kits. Again, I cannot imagine a needlework kit that I am less likely to stitch. It looked like it was all there in the package, but I wasn't even gonna look to see if I could get a full look at the image. I found it online later. The bottom looks like what you would expect from the top. The clutter. This was hanging on the wall, and it was gorgeous. I don't know if this would be considered crewel embroidery, but it was really pretty, and my guess is that those cutout ovals were maybe supposed to be a frame. What do you think? And then here's something that I'm not sure if this is the first one I have seen in the wild or not. Lots of people in my childhood had these tiered wooden trays, but the ones that I had seen growing up always had the pineapple on top. So I don't know if that little figurine was added later for a missing pineapple or it came in different variations. The single tier had a price tag of $20. I was not going to ask what they wanted for this full one. The wood was really dried out and it was off balance. All I can think is that it was stored in an attic or maybe a barn or outbuilding. It wasn't nice. It wasn't in anywhere near the condition that you would have expected it to be. And I did ask about the price of a little package of rubber crafting stamps, and for the 4 little rubber stamps without backs, they wanted $5. I think I could go to Hobby Lobby and get a new set for less than that, even without factoring in coupons. This thrift store was so overpriced for the few things that I did see prices on. And most of what they had was just clutter. I'm not trying to be mean. That cake pan threw with the angry man on it threw me for a minute until I figured out it's gotta be G.I. Joe, right? I've never seen an angry man cake pan before. Have you found yourself in a weird thrift shop? Did you turn tail and immediately leave, or did you keep looking with the same kind of puzzled, slightly horrified fascination that I had for this place? If I had had the boys with me, I lost my mom in here and had to struggle to find her again. There must have been at least a dozen of these tiny rooms. And like I said, they went on and on. You know how sometimes you're in a business and the restroom is like down a hallway behind everything else, and it's that slightly disorienting, I'm in a spot I shouldn't be. Walking down the hallways, it felt like, okay, am I going back into an employees only area where I shouldn't be wandering? This little plastic sewing machine caught my interest. I've never seen one like this before, and it said it was Romper Room. Romper Room in my head seems way older than this piece looks, so I'm really intrigued and curious by it. I bet it was battery operated. That is not a price tag. It was cute, and if it had been someplace else and inexpensive, I would have been really tempted to take it home for my sewing room shelf, but I didn't want to bring anything home from this place. I think even if those rubber stamps had been inexpensive, I probably wouldn't have bought them because I just left this place with a really negative feeling that I can't quite put into words. There have been a very few estate sales over the years that left me feeling that same way. Have you found a thrift store like this one? If you did, what was your reaction? Because superficially in the video, it doesn't look dirty. It wasn't dirty. It was just, like I said, hugely cluttered and hugely off-putting. And there are more rooms, but I think I'm going to cut the video now because this is getting so long and I don't know how to feel about this place. If you've stuck with me through the whole thing, thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. Did you catch the little icebox end table? That is the second of those I've seen this month after not having seen one for decades and having completely forgotten that they exist. Did you see anything in this place that you were intrigued by? Let me know in the comment section.